if you are catching this, I really appreciate you showing up today. I am going to be talking about why mystic entrepreneurs have more blocks than others and what to do about them. I'm also going to refer to my notes so I don't forget any of the tips that I've already written down in order to give you the absolute best that I can today. And if you're new, if you are just coming on and you don't know who exactly I am, my name's Lucy McMonagle, and I am a published author of Magical Money Manifestations, and I am also a visionary mystic entrepreneur, and I've been coined as the mystic wealth creator because I am the secret behind powerful and successful leaders that are forging their way in the world to create a bigger impact, to create a legacy, and in order to really make a difference in other people's lives. Now, the individuals that I work with, they sometimes call themselves mystics, they might call themselves sensitives, they might call themselves as conscious, evolving, etc. So many of the terms can be interchangeable, and some of them are unique, especially to you who I'm working with. And what I want you to imagine is being able to unlock millions, not only millions of dollars, but millions of individuals that you're going to be reaching because your business is starting to become so successful. You're creating that impact in the world. I truly believe that when we tap into our true mystical powers, our true abilities, then we're going to be able to make a huge difference in the world. We'll be able to make more money, have more freedom, and bring more joy into the world so that we can have more peace and harmony, bringing about an end to hunger and bringing about an end to suffering. So today, let's talk a little bit about what is a mystic, and is this the right webinar for you? Is this the right Facebook Live for you? And I would like to talk about a few things that I know about. I'm not going to give you the whole entire list of what makes you a mystic. If you have an inkling that you might be a bohemian, you might have some gypsy blood inside of you, you might actually be drawn to mystical things, tarot cards, angels, unicorns, and other mystical individuals and creatures, dragons. There's another thing that a lot of mystics are drawn to, or they're fascinated with legends and folklores and nature. And a lot of them are curious about how does this world work? And by the same token, you might have had paranormal experiences. You may have had a feeling that you're feeling homesick. Even when you were a young child, you may have had this feeling that you just might not belong, or that you're a little different, you're unique, that there's something special about you. You may have even had some mystical experiences. Most of the time you're intuitive, but you call your intuitiveness common sense a lot of times rather than just knowing. And you also are very sensitive. You might not let it show and you get things done, but sometimes your feelings get hurt a lot easier than maybe other people's feelings. And sometimes you take things personal. And as you're moving forward, as you're evolving, as you're starting to take back all of your personal powers, as you're starting to take back your heart pieces that you have given away to other people, then you can start removing those blocks. So this is all about why do mystics have more blocks than other entrepreneurs. And I'm going to keep this brief because I understand that you have a busy schedule, and I just recently got back from my travels to San Diego, where I was at the Global Influence Summit, and the Evolutionary Business Council had a deep dive retreat And I also went to Las Vegas, and I was at my other trainings for First Millions for millionaires and up and coming millionaires. So let's talk about what are some of the reasons why you get blocked from truly making that impact, from truly having that income, from truly having what you desire. And if you're listening to me, I'd love it if you put some hearts on there, because this Facebook Live is not showing me if anybody's on or not. I'm using a different program today, and I'm hoping that you will be able to actually get this. And it's actually live. Sometimes technology can be questionable. So some of the common reasons why we get blocked is because as a mystic, as an entrepreneur, there is timing. Timing is everything in so many different aspects. Now, some things that make you blocked is because you get these ideas, you want to carry through with them, you start moving forward to fulfill these ideas, but then some things come up. Now, I'm not talking about the unconscious, subconscious blocks that you have where other people try to distract you. Things really start coming up. And at this moment, when these things start coming up, step back for a moment. Breathe. Breathing is extremely important. And then start looking at this objectively, looking at it as if you could separate yourself from you and look at it as a third party. And start analyzing it. Okay, why is this stuff coming up? What is this meaning? Is there symbolism in it? Is this idea to fruition, or do I need to have more information? Do I need to have something else that I don't quite have? It could be a person, it could be a resource, it could be something else. And it's a part of the law of germination. The law of germination is once you start going towards an idea, you might be going faster than the ideas being created in the universe. Now, let me give you an example of this. And I'm giving you an example from my own personal experience. A lot of times I will get the big vision picture. I will see this huge thing. And one of the things that I saw when I lived in Memphis, Tennessee, was I was moving to Phoenix to start an entrepreneurial training center. I was absolutely certain I was starting an entrepreneurial training center. And not only that, I was going to start my speaking career. So I packed all my stuff, gave up the contract to my dream home that was in my hands, and I moved to Phoenix on pure intuition. And I started speaking. I started trying to put together events because I wanted to, really build this entrepreneurial training center. And everything was falling apart. People weren't showing up at my events. I wasn't able to get any momentum. I had to, practically climb over fences just to try to get this to go. And it just kept getting blocked over and over and over. So I stepped back, and I still kept it in the mind, but I focused on my speaking. I focused on getting trained in other areas. I focused on really getting honed in on exactly what do I want to bring into the world? What is my greatest and biggest mission? And that is to help set you free from your pain, from your suffering, and help you start creating that big impact in the world that you want to create, so that you can create a legendary legacy for you and your family and the world. So fast forward this to almost 3 years later, and boom, this past week, I got it. I can see now exactly what I was doing wrong. I was trying to force this little seed, this little idea that I got, that I knew I was meant to bring into the world, into something that it wasn't meant to be. So you see, my online training academy is online. It's not a whole bunch of workshops and seminars. Now, this is just phase one of the determination. And now I have the resources practically handed in my hands for free of being able to start putting together this information. So that was one of my blocks that I was having as a mystic entrepreneur. I can see the vision, which is off in the distance, and then I try to figure out how to get from here to there instead of taking what I know right now, one step, and then waiting, which can be very, very frustrating for us, is waiting for the next step, waiting for the doors to open for us. And as you start moving forward, you will be led individually, step by step, towards the grander vision. Now, you could have this great, big, huge vision. That's perfectly fine. But understanding that from here to there, when you start getting blocked, when you start hitting up against those doors, and you've stepped back, you took a breath, you realized it wasn't a self-sabotage, you realized it was not interference that was humanly interference, but it was actually not ready to be brought into fruition. That was a hard word, wasn't it? Now, the second thing that keeps mystic entrepreneurs from truly moving forward, from getting unblocked and unstuck, is fear. Now, a lot of individuals, you might not call this fear, but it is. Fear comes in very hideous different ways, and it's insidious. When I say this, I mean fear can show up as technology not working for you. It can show up as your car breaking down. It can show up as your cell phone not working. It can show up as you not feeling well and getting tired and drained. And when you have fear, that's hidden fear, this is going to change your world. So pay attention. If you're driving, please don't do this while you're driving. But when you have these hidden fears, the best and most powerful thing that you can do is take a piece of paper. Now, it can be any kind of paper. You can have white paper, you can have fancy paper, and start writing down everything that you sense about fear. And ask yourself, is this a hidden fear? Come up forward. Start drawing it out of the deep, dark recesses of your body and of your mind. And start having a conversation with it with a pen and paper. And allowing yourself, even if you just see a symbol, you can try to scribble the little symbol. If you have words, if you have emotions, if you have feelings, and you might start having anxiety and panic attacks when you do this exercise, just keep breathing in and keep talking to the fear, because your goal is to get it out of your body, out of your energetic field, and to have an understanding of why it's trying to protect you. Fear is amazing. It's an amazing mechanism that we create when we're very, very young to keep us safe. And when you start having fear, when you start getting ready to have a breakthrough, one of two things will happen. If you have an inner mean girl or an inner mean guy, they're going to go off on you. And all of a sudden, your self-talk is going to take a deep dive into the dark side. The second thing is fear will start coming through in bizarre, weird ways. You might have crazy dreams also. So stay with it. Keep talking to the fear until you have a resolution and you make an agreement with the fear that you will proceed carefully, you will be careful, and you will keep yourself safe, and thank it for trying to help you stay safe. But this is really a choice, a decision that you're making. Now, another thing that can hold mystic entrepreneurs back is perfectionism. And when you're trying to make everything look absolutely beautiful, it has to have the exact right words, and it has to have the exact right this, and you might take your words, you might take your copywriting, you might take whatever you're doing, and you keep going over it over and over and over again. You just got to proofread it just one last time. You have to check it one last time. This is also a form of fear coming out, trying to keep you small, trying to prevent you from moving forward, trying to prevent you from actually fulfilling that which you are meant to fulfill in this world. After you get it written, after you have it somewhat written out, go on to Fiverr.com and have somebody proofread it. Have somebody else that's an entrepreneur, not a friend that doesn't understand entrepreneurship, and have them proofread it for you to make sure it makes logical sense and it's in a linear fashion in order to reach your individuals. Now, the other most important thing that's preventing you from moving forward is getting too many ideas too quickly at once. You start getting a little bit of momentum, you get a little bit of success, and you slow down, and you start wanting to do too many things at once. So let me give you an example. Let's say you are finishing a telesummit. You're really excited about getting an offer, and all of a sudden you've got all of these ideas starting to come to you. It's like, oh my gosh, I just got this done, and I've just built my list to this size, and I just completed this. And all of a sudden, you're wanting to create this, and you want to create this, and your creativity goes wild and crazy. This is all right. This is good. Keep the ideas journal. Write an ideas journal. Write down all of your ideas. But then remember, focus. When I say focus, you follow one course until successful. So if you're doing something, you do it in a sequential fashion. Because if you do one thing, let's say you do a project on wealth, or I'm bringing to you something on wealth, and then all of a sudden you go from that to you're jumping over here, jumping here, jumping here, jumping here, and it's like people will not buy from you because you're confusing them. They don't understand who or what you are, and they won't understand if you can help them. So always, always, always follow one course of action until finished. This will help you in everything that you do. And even when you're on your day-to-day tasks, because your day-to-day tasks will determine your success that you have. As a day-to-day task, if you're checking your cell phone, if you're doing your email, if you're doing this, you see how I'm like changing my attention from one side to the other? That will not allow you to tap into the law of time. When you follow one course of action until successful, you actually start focusing your attention like a laser beam. And when you focus it like a laser beam, you actually start slowing down time. Did you get that? Write that down. When I focus on one thing at a time, when I focus until I complete one thing, until it's successful, I slow down time. Another thing that will keep you blocked is if you keep doing all of the tasks and the duties that you are not a genius in. So let me give you an example. I have 3 individuals that are helping me right now that handle the tasks that I'm just not a genius at. They are the things that are necessary for my business to grow. However, it would take me 3 hours to complete what would take them 1 hour. That's a 3-to-1 split, which is actually a block. So when you start looking at what do I do best, what are the things that I personally can do quickly, easily, and successfully? Can I focus on this one item and set a timer? If you need to set a timer, then set a timer. So let's say you are really good at writing, you love writing, you enjoy writing, you have your journal of all of the ideas that you wanted to bring into the world, and instead of bringing them into the world like a webinar or a teleclass or this or that, you can start writing a short blog about it. You can start writing a short article about it, and you can start checking off your ideas journal by writing. If writing's not your forte, if you are not a good writer, and every time you look at the screen, you don't get motivated and you struggle just trying to get your sales page up, or you struggle just trying to get that email out, that's something that you need to delegate. Most mystic entrepreneurs are blocked because they try to do everything all at once. They try to do everything by themselves, and they have a hard time asking. When you become extremely successful at focus, when you become successful at delegation, and when you become successful at focusing the delegation on the right activities, that is when you're going to start really seeing more improvement in your business. You'll start unblocking. So I want to thank you for listening to today's Facebook Live, and it's my greatest joy to bring you tips and strategies that I've learned throughout the years that I have been an entrepreneur. Now, I originally started my very, very first entrepreneurship when I was 9 as a little go-to girl to help the neighbors and my grandma. And since then, I've had many businesses, some successful, some failures. And each one I've learned from to follow my successes, to be able to focus on moving forward. If you are interested in learning on exactly how I help mystic entrepreneurs, visionary men, conscious women entrepreneurs, on how to really tap into your mystical powers, how I can advise you on hidden matters that are coming up, and how I can help you move forward, let's talk. I am offering a complimentary session in the next 2 weeks for those who are ready to take action now, who are ready to invest in a mentor that can help you bring your business forward and that can help you move forward in life so that you can create a vision and an impact in the world. Now, the best way to get a hold of me is to go to chatwithlucy.com. That's CHAT with WITH, Lucy, LUCI.com, chatwithlucy.com. Get on my calendar, fill out the questionnaire so that I can get prepared and I can best know how I can help you. And then we can see if it's a good fit if we're working together. If it's not a good fit, which I will not work with anybody who's not a good fit, then I will give you resources or I will refer you to somebody else that would be a better fit than I am. So this is a no obligation. I'm not into hard sales. I am into a win-win situation. So again, I'm offering complimentary sessions with me so that you can find out if working with me is to your benefit and to my benefit. So go to chatwithlucy.com and get on my calendar. So until next week, abundant blessings.